To Season 1 finals of the Hearthstone Legendary Series. That's right. We just showed you a little infomercial about how to sign up for Season 2. Make sure to do that and compete. You've seen the 8 players that are playing this weekend. That can be you too. We've paid for the expenses, their flights, their hotels, even some of their catering food as well. So it's quite the life to experience playing a game of Hearthstone. Plus, they got to visit California in the middle of winter, which was quite a different experience for some of these players, especially for a player like Savjz, who's coming up next. In Finland, it's like -5 degrees, but we take him out to the boardwalk, take him out to Universal Studios, and he's loving it.
Yeah, a lot of these players came from the open bracket, so they started just when everybody else playing sometimes 500-player open brackets, making it all the way through, fighting through the Challenger Finals, fighting through the match day, making it all the way here. So it's been a grueling battle for some of these guys, and they started just from going there and signing up for these tournaments. So it's pretty cool, pretty cool.
Definitely. So our next match will be Savjz, as we mentioned, versus SilentStorm, a player that did come through that open. Great transition there, TJ. SilentStorm is the player that, I guess the way that it was summarized was the best player that you haven't heard of in a lot of ways. He's a player that's, has his own specific style. I don't really know too much about him otherwise, though. He's kind of unknown.
Yeah, he's from Canada, right? Yeah, definitely. I'm excited to see.
He's from Canada.
I mean, I'm just excited to see players from, just new players and players from new regions especially. I don't know. That's why I'm so excited for the Taiwanese players, for example. I feel like this is the first Canadian player, at least that I've heard of in the pro scene, so it should be cool to see. Savjz, on the other hand, he's on such a good streak lately. I don't think he's ever been better at Hearthstone than he has been lately, just winning tournaments left and right, so...
Yeah, I mean, he also recently won the Invitational, I think you were in the finals against him, right?
You
were second.
Yeah,
so
he was the only one I lost to. It was like me, Calento, and Rennie Hour.
Yeah.
So he won that, which is like a smaller, 4-man thing, but he also won the, there's some other, major, well, he won ESL, of course, to get here. Which was impressive in and of itself.
Yeah. The Seed Story Cup was probably his best win so far as well. That was a really impressive tournament to take down.
Yeah, but he's definitely finishing very high in every tournament I see him in. Even in the ESLs he didn't win, I think he made it to top 4 or finals or something. So yeah, definitely a solid play right now. SilentStorm I haven't seen too much from. I'd like to see, just how good he is.
Is he really the only Canadian player you can think of?
Yep. Oh no, there's Kit Kats, I guess.
Hosty as well.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, Canada actually has a couple pretty good players.
Yeah. I guess I never, associate players with Canada. Maybe that's the problem.
You just think NA?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. That's fair enough. But, SilentStorm, we don't know too much about him. We did get to do an interview piece that's probably going to be shown sometime later, eventually throughout the weekend. But in the meantime, you can get to know his classes. And the reason why I like SilentStorm is because he is willing to go the extra mile and just play the underplayed classes. That's what he does.
Yeah, he was actually one of the most fun players to watch in one of the weeks. He was actually the winner of week number 3. In the finals, he took out Brian Kibler, who actually had a really good showing in the Legendary Series. He was very close to making it to the LAN finals. But SilentStorm was playing Shaman in an era where not many people were playing Shaman. Shaman's been sort of off the radar for quite a long time. Mage as well.
Before GVG came out, he was playing Mage.
He was really exciting. He was one of the only players that actually made really creative plays with really creative decks. And if you talk to a lot of players behind the scenes or that have been keeping up with the Legendary Series a lot, SilentStorm is definitely on their radar to be one of the contenders to win the whole thing. So I think these two players are two of the players to watch moving forward in this tournament.
Absolutely. And here we go. Game number 1 between SilentStorm versus Savjz is beginning now. And it's going to be already an interesting deck coming out from SilentStorm versus a traditional deck that we've seen from Savjz.
Yeah, I'm very happy to just see Warlock get played. This is the version that I tried playing myself as well, similar, Mistress of Pain. You play 1 Demon Heart, so they're always a threat. And yeah, it's definitely, might be Demon Lock. I'm assuming he's playing Void Callers in that deck, but just generally that mid-range Warlock strategy. Not fully aggressive like Zoo, not so much hand lock, but just kind of, interact with the board, play a fair game.
See the combo lock as well.
Yeah.
Just see a power overwhelming there.
That's a pretty good point, especially with 2.
Yeah, that's a pretty good sign, I'd say.
I wonder if it's reminiscent of Dark Wonyx's combo deck that he played in ESL and made popular from that.
Yeah, all these cards that we see in his hand right now were played in Darkwonix's version of that combo lock, which was actually the deck that he pretty much rode to make it to the ESL LAN finals here.
Sure.
He won, I believe it was like 7 games out of the 9 victories that he had were with that deck.
Yeah, so Savjz did draw Wild Growth, usually a great sign for Druid, but he also drew all of his situational, tech cards. He's got Mind Control Tech, Big Game Hunter, and Harrison, all of which are just being blanked right now by tiny little Warlock minions. It's definitely not what you want to see as the Druid. A single Piloted Shredder, for example, would have just shut down the Warlock's draw here. But it does mean we're going to be in for a longer game. Maybe if he doesn't play Harrison now, it'll come up later against the Jiraxxus, but...
What do you think will happen if he plays Harrison and then Implosion gets played? What do you think happens right now?
Well, like I said, I haven't seen SilentStorm play too much. I'm not sure how good at Hearthstone he is. I would roll it too.
Well, I feel like this could be either really pretty or really ugly. Depends on how.
Probably just going to take the clean power overwhelming trade, but
that's also a possibility too.
Could also man mode this Implosion.
Oh, 2 Implosions.
Yeah, I like to see the one egg for sure. All right.
Yeah, good sequencing. One thing SilentStorm also does is play very fast. He's a player that says he doesn't like to waste time, so he just likes to go for it. Also, he also cites it as one of his bigger weaknesses as well.
In the week that we watched him win, he didn't really make any glaring mistakes, even though he was playing really fast. But that's actually, it's a pretty relatively small sample size of games that you see there. And the reason why he cites it as a main weakness is because when you play that fast, you're prone to making quite a few mistakes if you're not thinking through all the options. So
yeah, so if he says the option is swipe and Wrath, or he's thinking about just attacking Mistress of Pain with his Shade right now. I mean, he just drew Force of Nature, so Shade and Extramus plus Force of Nature is kind of like two parts of the 3-piece Force of Nature Savage Roar combo. So I wouldn't fault him for preserving Shade here, but he's gonna go for Cycle. Or no, sorry, just cleaning it off with Wrath. Okay, saving the swipe, which is interesting. It's not usually a card that you get too much mileage out of, but I guess he's saving it for after Implosion, which makes sense.
Making the read that that card's in there is probably the right choice.
Is that a 3 health Shade? Here we go. We're about to see some professional. Oh, no.
Oh, no, I think he's popping it again. Second power overwhelming.
All right.
So
pretty safe play.
He has, I mean, so based off these cards that Savjz is reading, is he saying combo lock, or is it just like a mid-range demon control warlock, or like what, like the one that just Saiyan used to climb ladder? Like what are some of the reads that Savjz can make about this deck, or is it still too inconclusive?
Cards like Implosion, like Osmo mentioned, and Dark Bomb, like pretty much you just play like interactive cards to catch you up if you're behind. Maybe like 1 Hellfire, 1 Shadow Flame. You play Implosions, Dark Bombs, but then like as far as the top end of the curve, it's usually combo, demons, or both. Rarely both.
With how liberally he used his power overwhelmings, though, it seems like it is going to be demons to be main source here. Voidcaller, you could put that in combo lock, but I think it's pretty reminiscent of that Just Saying Warlock deck.
Someone's about to be salty. Yep.
Oh!
Yeah.
Oh man, SilentStorm was not digging that one. And it lines up perfectly for a swipe too.
Yeah, this is. I would have gone with the Voidcaller Dark Bomb. He was thinking, I don't want to play Voidcaller because I don't have a demon yet, but
right.
Like the risk of rolling a 2 there is just so high. That Piloted Shredder draw is so good for Savjz. That changes turn from doing close to nothing into just being exceptional. Now he's extremely far ahead on board. Oh man.
Yikes.
I guess he just Implosion.
Alright.
He wants to get better value out of that Voidcaller, because if he had just dropped it there, then it would have he would have been on a draw next turn to take it.
Second swipe to deal with the imps.
Even without that though, he had the MC tech to.
That's true. Actually, he can still save that swipe.
I would probably play the MC tech. I don't think it's gonna do much more later on in the game. So I'd probably MC Tech and swipe. You at least have a lot of board presence that way.
There's not going to be many other opportunities where you're going to have 4 creatures to steal once both implosions are used.
Mm-hmm. Maybe with like a Dr. Boom, but that's about it.
That's true.
I mean, if you, based off what he's seen too, like how much more can you wait for an MC Tech? Plus, it's a 3/3 you can get out too, so it's a pretty reasonable body if you draw into the Savjz Roar combo.
You definitely play it.
Oh.
Yeah.
This is Hearthstone sometimes, man.
Sometimes.
That's just brutal. Rolling low on the implosion and stealing the Voidwalker.
Yeah.
RNGesus is just not shining light down upon SilentStorm right now.
I mean, this also just got really interesting with Jiraxis in the hand. I mean, he's got a Shadow Flame play. He can put Jiraxis out there.
Yeah, he's got to like weigh the merit of having a 315 against Druid versus, you know, never being able to play Jiraxis again, which honestly I would take the 315 because if you Jiraxis, there's just such a high chance he died a combo.
Right.
This puts him ahead on board right now. He's got the Lothep follow-up. Anti-heal bot, unfortunately, cannot heal minions like Earth and Ring Farseer can, so Jiraxis might get dealt with. Oh, jeez, that's Sylvanas.
Sylvanas draw.
Sylvanas is just about the only way that the Druid can deal with Jiraxis, though. So I suppose that's a pretty decent draw, because other than that, a 315 would cause a lot of problems over the course of the whole game, I suppose.
Absolutely. We're definitely going to see a life tap here. This is where SilentStorm can't really afford to play Lotheb.
Yeah, because then Jiraxis just gets taken back.
Do you... I think you just play Healbot and Abusive and go for the flip. Like, just attack the Sylvanas.
Just rip off the Band-Aid.
Yeah, who knows, if the Abusive Sarge is taken, you also have the ability to play
the coil, yeah.
Yeah, the Mortal Coil.
It's pretty wishful thinking.
You could also go for the 50-50. Playing the heal bot is just kind of hedging. Oh, I like it.
Here we go.
Oh! Outplayed.
Well, I think that's kind of evening it out.
Yeah,
you know?
that's karma right there. He was saving that one up.
Well, Savjz is now super far behind the board, but what a draw! The Ancient of Lore is so key. So that way he can refill his hand, put a reasonable amount of board presence, and he picks up the Savjz Roar. This is a very good turn here for Savjz.
Doesn't want to drop the Chow, just to be constantly threatening lethal. Mal'Ganis.
He's got the Void Color in his hand as well, so this could... he might just...
I mean, he just saw Big Game Hunter get played.
Yeah, that's very true.
Yeah. Kill off the board. Player 9-7. All right, it buffs Jiraxis.
Yeah. Savjz just maths, wow. Doesn't really know how to deal with this one. Unless.
Especially the turn after he uses BGH.
He has to defensively combo, I think.
Yikes. And even then, it's like he's taking off a lot of power, but still, it's a big win condition that he's forfeiting there just because of
yeah. He could swipe
circumstances.
And Druid of the Claw, though. But I think you just have to combo. Like, if you swipe in Druid of the Claw, you're leaving the Warlock on 23. I don't know if the combo will end up being enough to end the game. Like, maybe it's better to have a Druid of the Claw on a swipe rather than a
the repetitive damage is better than the burst.
Yep.
Go either way. Is the Zombie Chow just unplayable from this point on?
Yeah, it happens in a lot of cases with Druid like this. Savjz is a big fan of playing like one Zombie Chow at least in all of his Druid lists.
Especially in faster Druid.
Yeah, it's very high variance in my opinion. It's like wild growth, as in, you know, great to have early in some matchups, but in some matchups it's not even good early. Like against Warrior, for example, wouldn't even keep it. So. All right.
You might as well.
Yeah.
You're not trying to burst your opponent down anymore. You're going to try to squeeze into damage. But this is where I feel like that Warlock hero power, considering he just used a combo, is going to give him a firm advantage.
That Dark Bomb's not bad either. It's going to let him keep Jiraxis a little more healthy. Interesting. Okay. Just going to go for the board development instead. Save the Dark Bomb. I like that play too. Yeah, like you said, Warlock Hero Power. This is where it really shines.
Well, Wrath is a pretty decent draw. It allows him to cycle a little bit through his deck, and it makes it so it lines up a little bit nicer with Swipe. He can clear both of these creatures off the board.
Dr. Boom comes to the hand. Is it just your opportunity to drop here? There's 10 damage waiting on the other end.
Yeah, well, the thing about that type of Warlock list is it's not very threat dense. So if you do swipe the Void Caller and Hero Power it, there's a good chance that the Warlock just doesn't develop much next turn. So you have to like weigh which board you want to play Dr. Boom on. Is this board better?
I think that's lethal.
That is.
Yeah, this weird control demon Warlock is going to take game 1. And SilentStorm is going to start off the series with quite the stir.
Alrighty.
Doctor Who? Didn't look like he didn't make much of a difference there, but I guess it was just too late.
Yeah.
SilentStorm.
He got off to a rough start.
The best player you haven't heard of yet.
Yeah.
The people's player.
No, he's thinking about Silverback Patriarch.
Silverback Patriarch is the people's champion. SilentStorm is the people's player, of course. At least my player for winning with Warlock. My favorite class. Great to see that come out, win, in pretty convincing fashion.
It's one thing to bring it when you might be the only player to bring it, but to also win with it against a class that's established to be one of the top right now.
Yeah, it's not even an easy matchup, right? Like it's not like the Druid drew poorly. I mean, Savjz had a Wild Growth opening. He top decked pretty well in a lot of spots. The RNG went against SilentStorm for the first couple of like extremely relevant points. So yeah, great to see a win like that come up. It goes to show the deck might be really powerful. Maybe it's just really good against Druid. Who knows?
Well, a couple weeks ago, I remember reading that that deck was like preying on the meta game. Just Saying was climbing the ladder very aggressively with it. It was one thing that just caught people by surprise because they weren't used to it. It's more like, is it hand lock? Is it zoo? Is it combo lock? And it's like it's none of those. It's just its own weird controlly archetype that just wins sometimes.
One of the reasons why it was so strong is just because nobody really knew how to play against it. People were used to playing against those refined, those decks that they're used to seeing that just get slight meta changes over time. Just came out of left field. Nobody really knew. Nobody really knew.
Well, now Savjz knows for sure, but we're going to move on to game number 2. And remember, it's a lineup for the first 3 games as we get the thumbs up from the admins to go into Rogue versus Druid. And this matchup, I guess it depends on what the Druid's teching in nowadays. Is it running the Spectral Knights to try to fight back against the Rogue's dominance? Or is it playing more just traditional, whatever, doesn't really matter, I'm just going to draw into combo and win?
A lot of Druids have been taking in the Spectral Knight. Harrison Jones as well. That's actually been a pretty staple card in Druid for a long time, but if you're playing Druid, you know that you're going to be matching up against a lot of rogues, especially in this tournament. You have to make the read that a lot of players are going to be bringing it. So those are sometimes choices that you have to make, even in a format like this where you can't necessarily bring something out to just counter something else.
It's super interesting to see a preparation keep, just like, without a second thought. A lot of times, that's a card you'll keep against very aggressive decks. Against Druid, though, it's interesting to see that. Maybe that's indicative of 2 sprint in the Rogue deck or something like that, so that, the card is pretty much always live. But, yeah, so it's pretty comfortable just keeping it. I don't mind a Blood Mage here. Just play it.
Prep is a really flexible card most of the time. Unless you don't draw into any spells early on. It can allow for some big plays, and a lot of times it can match up against an early Innervate play, so you don't fall too far behind. A lot of times rogues have ways to deal with that as it is, but sometimes it can give you a little bit of an extra buffer zone, sort of, if the Druid has a really fast start.
I'm not a big fan of holding on to the Blood Mage here. That Rogue hand doesn't have a 4-drop yet, and it would increase the odds of having a turn 4 teacher to have played that. I guess maybe you play it now, so it's the most awkward turn for Druid to hero power, but I'm also a fan of playing the SI Agent on 3, which this means you can't do now. The SI Agent's actually super important against Druid, even though it doesn't kill very many minions, just because the way Rogue wins is by just getting ahead on board itself. So I really like playing a 3-3 on 3, or on turn 3, because Druid's removal is just very mana inefficient. You know, they're not going to be able to like develop a threat and Wrath the SI Agent in the same turn.
Making every turn as awkward as possible.
Unless you have Innervate, that's the only way. You have to kill that Blood Mage too, because a simple Fan of Knives could have been able to kill off that Shaded Next Rammus.
For sure.
Would have rendered it ineffective.
Yeah, that Blood Mage just took an Innervate and a card. That was amazing value. But yeah, no Vile Teacher here. This is what I mean. You know, Rogue can deal with Shades by Blade Flurrying them, but you never want to. It just feels terrible.
Well, you have a second one in hand.
Yeah, yeah.
I wonder.
It does kind of just use your Deadly Poison as Sinister Strike, though. I don't know if that's exactly the...
Would you rather than just SI7 and then... Because the Blade Flurry can still touch the Shade next turn because it's a 3-3?
I think the play is Preparation SI Oil.
I wonder.
Oh. I didn't think about that one.
Pretty much forcing him to either have a way to remove the SI or trade the Shade in, so you wouldn't even have to use the Blade Flurry.
Yeah, these are the fun turns of Rogue where you have a lot of decisions.
If you prep Oil Rogue, the SI7 only becomes a 6-3, right? But then it gets Wrath. Feels like a lot of wasted damage, especially with combination. Wouldn't you just rather Deadly Poison? It's effectively the same thing. Just get some weapon damage.
Yeah, I guess.
Save the prep.
Yeah, that makes some sense. This is probably better to be fair.
Yeah. Well, Savjz just draws the second piece of, or sorry, not Savjz, he was playing Druid last game. SilentStorm drew the second piece of the combination here. So if he can put as much pressure as he can, he might be able to threaten. And until then, the Shaded Next Rammus is just going to still grow.
Yeah, and it's starting to get to that spot where it's, at least if it survives this turn, which is probably unlikely, it would get to that point where it'd be pretty problematic for the Rogue to be able to remove. They'd have to invest a lot into it. Like an Oil or a second Deadly Poison in combination with the Blade Flurry, which I guess isn't too bad, but that would be all he would be doing.
So many options.
So he saved his previous stack of Deadly Poison damage, and Loth has been drawn. There's just a lot of bursts from the hand.
That Lothab interrupting Sylvanas play is just so good.
Playing a Keeper on turn 5.
When you have no alternative, I mean, you have the combo in hand, you kind of have to pressure.
Yikes. And he's even going to float a mana as well, so he can't even mix in a hero power or anything.
Yeah, losing that Shade's a big deal. Well, I mean, that would have pretty much guaranteed the combo being lethal. I wonder if even letting Lothab live was better. Probably not.
Yeah, especially if, I mean, what does it say? What does it say when you keep the charges like that? Is it telegraph? Is it possible they telegraphs Blade Flurry at all?
It might. I mean, that's a card you can pretty much always assume Rogue has anyway. I mean, they do play 2 of them. Here, you know he has it because, you know, with 6 mana, the Rogue played a 3-3. And it just has all spells in hand, so.
Right.
And he's held onto that weapon for so long.
Right.
Just that one weapon charge.
Innervate gives a opportunity for Cenarius. Maybe you just play it as the world's biggest Shattered Zone cleric right now.
So then you make a 4/6 out of this Keeper of the Grove?
Yeah.
Because I think too many smaller minions make it easy for like Fan of Knives to play through.
Yeah.
But it's more bodies for... I don't know if it'll be able to survive, though. I was going to say it's more bodies for the combo, but I don't know if that'll be an impact whatsoever.
This makes it so that the Blade Flurry is actually pretty inefficient, though. Because you're essentially wasting one of the charges if he's going to do that. It's not the turn yet where he could Azure Drake, Fan of Knives.
It's a good point. You can't just attack the face and then Blade Flurry and get full double damage there.
So you're sort of punishing him in a way for holding on to that first charge of the deadly poison. That's if he has the Blade Flurry to be able to deal with it.
Do you have the opportunity to oil Blade Flurry, play a Savjz if you use preparation? Maybe that's the way to go.
Yeah, the preparation sequencing allows him a lot of interesting decisions this turn. But he did use both innervates, right? So now he can't innervate combo, so that's something that's at least relief off his mind.
I definitely think you want to oil, prep oil, Blade Flurry, make a weapon, Savjz, finish off the scenarios.
Pay attention, class.
Well, here comes the oil.
Yeah,
the lance.
This gives you 1/1s, but you haven't really seen a swipe yet, have you? So,
No.
So I don't like this because it's just missing out on 3 damage. Could have guaranteed that buff on Farseer.
You would have had less 1/1s though, so.
Right.
That's assuming he doesn't have swipe to immediately crush this down. Swipe with
I'm pretty sure this play was like significantly worse than just not playing the teacher, because not only did he miss out on that 3 damage, but like this means that instead of using Savjz to take out scenarios, he's the scenarios just trades for the teacher that you played anyway. So it's like, would you rather have a teacher in hand or would you rather have a Savjz deck hand in hand? Yeah, that was a big error from Savjz, I think.
well, now he's just basically on a sprint draw to get back in the game.
Right.
Here.
So if he sequenced it the other way, like this Savjz could be a Violet teacher.
Got a lot of health to get through with just 3 cards in his hand.
It's just looking for a sprint or some kind of really big card. Savjz does not look happy at this point because he's just sitting with a couple of very weak cards, and now Druid has just a lot of damage that'll be coming in with the combo. Not to mention it's got Wild Growth, so we can cycle and dig a little bit deeper.
Yeah. So the other players in the finals here, take note that he just drew a second Force of Nature. A lot of times, players only play 1. I personally prefer only 1 Force of Nature in my Druid deck. Playing 2 is definitely going to change how matchups like Warrior play out, where you have to keep in mind the potential for it to happen twice. So, obviously not a great draw for him either. I mean, but, a second Savage Roar could come up. Ooh, there you go.
Wow. That is a great draw. The Ancient of Lore could pick up a couple more cards, useful, but the most important thing is the 5/5 body that represents to do 21 damage the following turn.
An antique heal bot.
That is something you don't see much. I mean, it's like playing Greater Healing, but you get that value.
Oh, Healing Touch.
Or Healing, is that what it's called?
So you get
I always call it Greater
So you get a
Healing.
2-mana 3/3 in the process of it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's like
Power creep.
It's like an Azure Drake that draws you Healing Touch.
Jeez. Well, Savjz is hanging in there, still looking for preparation. But Druid has just such a large card advantage and can easily just swat down whatever Rogue puts down.
Yeah, this looks super bad for Rogue. I don't see how Savjz can get out of this. I mean, to be fair, even if he did make the other play, the game would have been pretty tough for him.
It's interesting how the matchups just kind of turn upside down sometimes. The Rogue, of course, you're afraid of the Warrior, but we've seen the Warriors, or we've seen the Rogues try to take him out, and then sometimes we see the Rogues try to punish things like Druid. It doesn't end up working out that way.
Well, this is a problem that Rogue has suffered with for a very long time. It's just some games you just don't draw into your draw mechanics. Even back when Miracle Rogue was super popular, sometimes there would be games where you just wouldn't draw into your Gadget's hands. And nowadays, it's just time where you just run out of cards and you just never draw into either the 1 sprint or the 2 sprints that you use. So,
well, SilentStorm once again, the unknown player. 2-0.
Did Savjz see an Azure Drake that game either? I don't think he did.
he saw 1.
Saw 1?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, well, that's not.
Towards the end.
You mean did he play or did he get?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
You're saying did Savjz play?
Did Savjz play 1?
No,
yeah.
no, he didn't.
I don't
No,
Yeah, so to get like no Drakes, no sprints, that's pretty brutal. You can see Savjz looks super happy about the outcome of that one. Oh, man.
He's in his happy place.
Yeah.
If I close my eyes, no one can see me. that logic. Well,
Do we know
I
the
feel like
matchup?
that's
Do we know the matchup for the last game?
Yeah, Shaman. Shaman versus something. You wrote it down.
That's right. It was.
No, I didn't.
Because we weren't told the class, because the deck lists were submitted like last night.
My
so.
guess is Mage. We haven't seen that
Yeah,
in
I
VT
think
yet,
so.
right?
Yeah. So I
Yeah.
think it's Shaman versus
Might
the
bring
Mage.
out Fatigue. It's a deck he definitely likes a lot. We haven't seen much of it, but personally, I think every variant of Mage is just super good right now. But yeah, Freeze.
What about Shaman? Like, what's the status of Shaman? Because people said that was a bad class. Actually, you're one of those ambassadors who are saying like Shaman's just struggling. Just it can't really pull himself out of the dumps.
That's a nice way of saying it. I said it was straight garbage. Which, like, there's lots of ways to build it, right? You can build it like a mech deck, in which case you're playing a bad mage deck. You can build it like mid-rangey, in which case you're playing a bad everything deck. It's like, there are versions of it that can do well. I've seen really slow ones, 2 heal bots, for example, but Shaman versus Hunter.
Shaman versus Hunter. So this matchup in the past, it wasn't, especially if it was a face Hunter, the Shaman struggled a lot. But, now that GVG came out and TKO bots exist, and maybe the Shaman's leaning more towards mech, and you have those mech synergies.
Yeah, it's gotten kind of back and forth historically. I mean, there's a time when Shaman was just really disadvantaged, like you mentioned, because they didn't have any healing, didn't have access to any healing, and face Hunter just wreck it. But then there was a time when Shaman was actually pretty good against Undertaker Hunter, just because it could deal with Undertaker pretty early, and then the 2-1s didn't do so well against your Haunted Creeper. But yeah, right now, I just got to give the edge to Hunter because the class is playable. We're seeing, like, interesting. Yeah, I like keeping Bow Companion, at least the Companion. You have Coin. But yeah, kind of a slower.
Just wants a quicker start for the Hunter. Is that
We've
why
seen some, like, Ancestors call ones, too. Maybe this is what he's
Oh, yeah, you know all about the
I feel like
Ancestrals call
yeah,
Shaman.
no, yeah, give me the shots, guys. I won that match. Don't forget it.
Very true.
I think it would be up SilentStorm's alley to play a deck like that, but I think he also just liked traditional mid-range Shaman. Like, that deck's pretty underrated, even though everyone knows that it's weak and relative to the meta game. But
hey, now
I think it's also one of those decks where, like, if you underestimate it, it still does Shaman things.
Yeah.
It just, like, gets value, it gets board control, and just wins.
pretty solid against Warrior as well. So if SilentStorm, I mean, he loves Shaman as it is. We saw him play Shaman to great success the week that he won. And if he was expecting a lot of Warrior coming into this weekend, Shaman could be pretty good.
I don't know. Oh. Savjz has got that secret tech, Angry Chicken.
Angry Chicken, Houndmaster, the dream.
Not actually too bad to get Angry Chicken. Captain's Parrot is what you don't want. Angry Chicken's playable. It's like Stone Tusk Boar, but nerfed, you know.
A balanced Stone Tusk Boar is what you mean.
What is Captain's Parrot then?
I
think that's right.
Novice Engineer with a bug, I guess. I don't know. Like, Angry Chicken, legitimately, I used to play that in 2 of it in Hunter for a long time. Back when Unleash the Hounds was a completely different card that cost 1 mana.
You can find all these decks on
1 mana Unleash.
TempoStorm.com.
Oh, you mean when the when it was like give charge plus it's 1 attack?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because it was, you have to play every cheap beast, and it was pretty awesome. I think Hungry Crab was in that. Is Hungry Crab a beast?
Yeah.
Yeah, Hungry Crab was in it too.
But why? I mean, you could play like Young Dragonhawk.
Yeah, you did. You played all the 1 mana ones. Because you play 2 mana Buzzard, dry your deck, play 1 mana Unleash, win the game. So, like, it was worse return on River Crocolisk and stuff, and better return on Angry Chicken.
Gotcha.
Well, we will see just how far this Angry Chicken will go. It's holding down the fort right now.
It'll do 1 damage at least.
Actually, it's already done 1 damage. In fact, it might even do
Oh, you're right.
2 damage.
Let's not get too crazy here.
Oh,
Sludge Belcher, Natural Predator, Piloted Shredder. This is why that Rogue Hero power is so good to accompany Piloted Shredder. But when you have a class that doesn't have a hero power that controls the board, like Shaman, for example, you know, you have to commit an extra card just to deal with a Belcher. In this case, there's Defender of Argus, but you don't really want to play that on 5 mana.
Yeah, how else do you complement it with Defender of Argus with the 1 mana? You only have the Rockbiter. And normally this is when you want to drop the Drake anyways, so that way you can get a little bit deeper, put out that 4/4 body.
SilentStorm is not confident in his crackle skill, so he's going to opt for the Azure Drake instead. Not a bad play, but man, when Sludge Belcher just stops.
Oh, wait.
No!
He has the Houndmaster.
It's possible.
It's such a bad play here, but I mean,
Just see what you
just to
get.
see
from
the reaction out of
Oh,
SilentStorm would be perfect.
I mean, okay. Well,
All right,
it's
so
not going to happen.
SilentStorm's going to need an Earthshock for sure, but this play is super clean. Full control of the board for Hunter. Angry Chicken.
Well, he does have the nice turn 6 play here, but it's not as clean as you'd want it to be.
His Fire Elemental is okay.
Yeah.
You put out the 6/5, but there's still a taunt, and then there's still high main.
Is Angry Chicken about to deliver its 4th point of business? Is that what's about to happen? This is the world's
A
best
1
web
mana.
spinner.
I mean, that's almost Undertaker status. If Undertaker can do 4 or 5 damage for
Yeah.
1 mana, that's pretty good.
Yeah. Hunters are going to start teching in Angry Chicken as an Undertaker replacement after watching this match.
Yep. And Trump's gonna have to move Angry Chicken up in the tier list. That's for sure.
Well, Savjz is considering his options. He's
Yeah.
got,
I thought this was a high main play, but
yeah, most of the time it is, but when you're up against Shaman,
Hex
is-
Lightning Storm.
Yeah, well, Hex in general is just a pretty big threat. It's kind of interesting to note that SilentStorm shot the Sludge Belcher instead of the Iron Beak Owl. So it means he thinks it's more likely he draws a Lightning Storm than a first shot. Going in.
I believe that's 5 or 6 points of damage that an Angry Chicken has done. Wow.
No, come on. 4 points from the chicken, 2 from Houndmaster. Let's not oversell chicken. Oh, here we go. The natural predator.
Natural predator of Angry Chicken.
I mean, that's why Shaman's put in Earthshock, right?
Yep.
I mean, SilentStorm is the best player you have not heard of yet, so I would definitely believe Earthshock was put in to counter Angry Chicken.
Wait, is SilentStorm the best player that
You haven't heard of?
you haven't heard of? Yeah.
No. Well, he lived a good life. Angry Chicken will be forever remembered.
Rest in peace, Angry
I feel
Chicken.
like that's a meme waiting to happen, by the way.
2015 to 2015.
Okay, well, Knife Juggler gives some pretty good juggle opportunities with this Haunted Creeper.
Yeah, definitely great synergy there. Let's see if this is...
Oh, he gets the Leok. And the juggle didn't go wasteful either.
Yeah, it's not really what Savjz wanted here. But could be worse, I guess. Shaman doesn't have the Hex yet for Savannah Highmane, so that comes down. Oh, wow, Healbot too.
Yeah, that's a very nice card to have. The heal bot allows him to stay out of reach from some of the Hunter damage.
Without Lightning Storm, though, it's pretty tough for SilentStorm to clear the board here, but Rockfighter's going to take care of most of it.
Yeah, and he's also got the Feral Spirits.
I think he's going to go with Defender instead.
Ah, that's also a possibility. More mana usage. Yeah, especially with Healing Totem. It's great. Great combination. Well, I guess you've had time to see whether or not he has the specific removal. Highmane comes down.
If he finds a way to deal with this Highmane, though, it could end up being a pretty rough.
Oh! Is that good, Azumo?
That's
Why is that good?
that's pretty good.
Oh, man.
That's pretty bad. Savjz is going to be very disappointed. Well,
that's gonna probably do it. I mean, it's so tough for Hunter to climb back into it, right? Like your best tool for catching up is Unleash the Hounds, and that's not gonna do a whole lot against 3 health taunt minions.
and now this Healing Totem also spreads it out a little bit more, so it's just that much harder to get rid of this board.
He's healthy as well. Well,
Oh.
Dr. Boom is something that you are never upset to see off the top.
Well, this lane of the game, not.
Yeah, definitely one of Savjz's better draws here. What he needs really is like a Cult Master into an Unleash, and then he's in it.
Yep. That would feel pretty appropriate, especially since Shaman naturally builds up the board a lot. And that's assuming he's even running Cult Master. All right, well, SilentStorm picks up Flame Tongue Totem.
I mean, I think this is a pretty safe turn to use an Epsilon here. He still has the opportunity to throw down the Flame Tongue Totem as well to help penetrate into the Dr. Boom.
It depends on what Murlocs he gets.
Wow.
Oh, man. Well, yeah, Flame Tongue lets you play Tide Collar, and Tide Collar's a pretty big deal.
Yeah, the Tide Collar allows him to buff up that creature, and that, I mean, the Tide Collar essentially becomes a Murloc Undertaker. Whoa. Wow, that is a really effective Boombot as well. All right, at least the taunts have been dealt with.
Took out something. But he's still relatively healthy. 21 health still. There's a lot to get through. He's starting to run out of cards.
Yeah, this is where the anti-Q bot is so important because, I mean, SilentStorm would have been 11 health, and maybe Savjz could start digging damage, but he's so far away from being able to finish, and Shaman can now turn on the pressure with hiding behind Feral Spirits.
Yep, and this Murloc is about to, well, if he decides to go the Murloc route, it's a lot of pressure.
Why wouldn't he?
Because he can't play all of them with the Feral Spirit, but that's fine.
Really nice sequencing there as well. You notice he caught himself. Make sure you attack with the Epsilon before he placed those Murlocs in the correct spot next to that.
That is a 3-0 for SilentStorm against what many consider the favorite of this entire tournament. SilentStorm is going to win 3-0 and sweep Savjz.
Yep, that didn't
I think the crowd's stunned. They didn't expect that.
Yeah,
no handshake or anything, damn.
Wow. Seemed like Savjz was a little bit stunned as well after that one. SilentStorm, really impressive showing in that series, though.
Yeah, he played super well, had some cool decks. Glad to see
cool
Warlock
decks.
win, and didn't even get to the blind pick stage. So
Warlock and Shaman.
Yeah, two classes that I didn't really anticipate seeing much of, but I think that's where SilentStorm's the strongest. He's playing classes or decks maybe that he's familiar with, and it's also a surprise factor, which does end up working the most the first time around. Now every series from this point on, say Savjz meets SilentStorm for second place in the group, I'm sure Savjz will do a little bit better considering he knows what to expect.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, Druid kind of is a safe pick there. I'm glad, I think it's the first, well, this is the first match, the second match of the day, but I'm glad that these players are playing Druid. I expected to see a lot more of that. I was kind of surprised that in the first match we didn't see any of it. But, yeah, are we going to head over to the winner interview? Or
In just a second, slow down, Rainer. It's okay.
Oh, man.
That's me and TJ's job to do that. It's all good. We're going to have also some other guest players and casters rotating on, I believe, after this series. We'll start getting some players in. That'll be really fun. In the meantime, guys, in case anybody joined in because you recognize, earlier in the stream, it's kind of early for NA. Some people are just waking up. Welcome to the Season 1 Finals. We're giving away some packs if you submit the best meme. I did this challenge, and it was confirmed by our social media guys. So if you can create something fun, you can just go ahead and hashtag HLS or go to that link you see below, esl.gg/HS Mega Finals. And win some classic packs so you can open up some stuff, dust it, and maybe craft Dr. Boom for yourself.
I'm a huge fan of packs in general. Yeah,
I mean, packs are great. I love packs.
And for those of you watching,
it's like I love money. Do you love money? It's like, yeah.
If you're not gonna,
we have so much in common, TJ.
If you're not gonna use your giving out packs cards, I'll buy them for 25 cents each to everybody in the audience.
Gotcha.
Catch me after the show. We'll cut a deal.
We're actually not even paying TJ in money for his time casting. We're just paying him packs. Worth 1/100th of a cent.
Can't get enough.
All right, well, I believe the interview is ready. With Anastasia. Before that, we also want to thank Plantronics for doing a good job and helping us support the stream going on. You saw those headsets that they were wearing. They give away some stuff of that throughout the entire season. And they're a big supporter of why this is all possible. So we want to give a big shout out to them. And the best thing you can do to support us is to go to those links and support them as well. In the meantime, we're going to go with the winner, the man of the moment, SilentStorm, who 3-0'd possibly the strongest player at this LAN. Or is he? We'll find out more with Anastasia right now.
Thank you so very much, Frodan. And wow, what generosity from you and from the studio, giving away packs for memes. I think I'll have to figure something out and join you guys in on that. So now, the man of the moment sitting here with me on the winner's couch, The winner himself, 3-0. Team Magic Amy's very own SilentStorm. Welcome.
Hi. Okay.
Welcome.
Well, thanks.
Is this your first time in the United States of America?
Yes, it's my first time.
I'm glad that you're representing. I'm very glad that you're representing the United States of America here. Show everybody your sweatshirt. It's beautiful, beautiful. Hollywood, California. Have you been to Hollywood yet?
Not really. Just their souvenir shop.
Very nice, very nice. Well, you are indeed the man of the moment. You are our youngest player here at 17 years old. Is that correct?
Yes.
Still a high school student?
Yeah, I'm grade 12 right now.
Perfect, perfect. Now, let's talk about it. Your next match, you're going to be going up against Zalae. How are you feeling about that?
I'm kind of nervous because Zalae is really strong. I met him a few times in ladder and he wrecked me all the time.
How did he wreck you on ladder?
I don't know. Just he's a good player.
Perfect. Well, you should be a little bit more nice about yourself because you are the man of the moment. You just beat out the tournament favorite, Savjz, and you have a very bright future ahead of you. Anything else that you want to say to us?
Watch out my Demon Lock deck. It's a really good and really fun deck.
That it is. That it is. And I hope we see more of that later today. For those of you wanting to get in on the fun, make sure to tweet at us at #HLS. And you can tweet at us about the Demon Log deck. You can tweet at us about about SilentStorm sweatshirt, anything and everything, and even your predictions. Thank you very much for watching, and we will be right back with the next matches after this short commercial break.